Welcome into Beyond the Arc with Coach Gebbia, Dan Laing, Coach Gebbia, and nice to see you. And nice win against Loyola. Nice bounce back after we talked about it, how tough that 3-game stretch especially was going to be. Lehigh, Bucknell, Holy Cross. And nice bounce back against Loyola.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen, right, when you have a three-game losing streak there. But the kids, I think, came in really focused. They knew we needed this win, as did we as a staff. And Loyola was playing everybody really tight, so we knew that it wasn't going to be an easy game by any stretch. And the way we've been playing lately has allowed people to kind of play with us. And so going into that game, we were really focused on some of their key players, trying to take them kind of out of the mix a little bit and figuring out a way to score on the offensive end. I kind of knew we were going to see some zone just based on what I had seen prior to our game and how well we could function against the zone when we hadn't been shooting the ball well. And I just think we found different ways in the second half to kind of score easily instead of just relying on the three.
And one of the things that I thought was interesting, just looking at the stats, when you look at Caitlin Morini, she had 11 points coming off the 24 points against Holy Cross. You sit there and go, oh, well, what happened? Well, she didn't have any turnovers and played almost 30 minutes.
Right.
So that's pretty impressive. And you have Stephanie Kars on the floor as well, who's the top player in the country in steals.
Yeah, she's scary. I mean, just I tried to preach to them, like the last 2 days before we played, just you have to know where she is at all times, and she's always poaching. You dribble around her, she's going to take it. If she's in your area and you make a lazy pass, she's going to steal it. She's just such a great anticipator, and I thought Katie understands. She's played against her for 3 years. This is her 4th year going against Steph Kars, so I think she understood. The reason Katie didn't play more minutes really was she got herself in foul trouble in the first half. So she didn't shoot the 3 well. I think she went 0 for 5. But again, finding different ways is part of your job as one of the best players on the team, is to find. You can't just rely on one type of shot. So she got in there, she mixed it up a little bit, and just really proud of how she kind of pulled herself through the game and never gave up.
And you're really going to need that here, from her, that regardless of what type of game she's having. And I guess that comes from experience as well.
Yeah, and the lack of not having turnovers is what you need from her, because everyone else was kind of turning the ball over around Kars. And it was, you have to give them a pass, I guess, because it's most of their first time going against her for the amount of minutes that they played. The sophomore class didn't play a ton last year, so they didn't really know what she's like until you're out there. And I think hopefully we'll be better for it the second time we play them. I'm really thankful we were home. I think that helped a little bit, and knowing what we're going to get ourselves into going to Loyola down the road.
And when you look at Kars, I mean, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 8 steals. And I guess, the steals part is a little discouraging, if you will. But other than that, you guys did pretty well against Kars.
Yeah, I think she came out hot. I think she made back-to-back buckets on us. And then we kind of switched up what we were doing a little bit. We kind of switched different people on her. We were switching defenses, not defenses, in our man, switching more man-to-man. But yeah, I just think that hurt her a little bit. And we dug on her in the second half. So people were helping off others and forced her to pass the ball a little bit more. And she's a great passer too, so you have to be careful of that. But I just think we did a much better job as the game went on, as we got more comfortable.
And it seemed, well, I mean, that played itself out too, because it was a fairly close game. And then in the fourth, you guys really took off.
We turned it off. I just, for me, every game, it's like a puzzle, right? I'm trying to figure out which 5 people are playing the best together. And I said this to my staff after the game, it's different people every game. So for me, I'm just trying to figure out, and we finally kind of got those 5 people playing well and clicking at both ends, and it was like, okay, so now you could see them get comfortable. You could see the ball moving a little bit quicker. We got some offensive rebounds. I thought Taylor Brown did a great job coming in and hitting back-to-back buckets that got us the lead. That was a crucial time in the game. I think Lauren Stack hit some shots down low. It was like we didn't just rely on Katie and Jade. We were able to go to other people, and that's what makes us dangerous, and I'm hoping down the road we see more of that.
Do you look at it as a good thing or a thing where you're like, that you have so many pieces and you're not sure exactly how they're going to fit in on any given? I mean, I'm sure for you that's just more stress, right?
That's a tough question, Dan. I would say, I don't know if it's a good thing. It's a good thing in the sense of, like, we have a lot of talented players, like you're saying. It's bad because in the past I've gone with like a solid 8. Maybe 9, and those are the people that knew they were going to get in at the same time every game, and so it's been tough. But it's put us, me and my staff, it's put us, given us a great challenge. So now it's like trying to get the people that are getting in the bench. Everyone's pretty much getting in and getting time. So getting them more consistent at both ends of the floor will earn them more minutes, and maybe you'll see that rotation change as we get later on in the season. But I do like the availability of being able to put people in and trying them, because we have really different players. You got Carla, who's 6'4", going in against the other team's biggest kid. You have Stack that can play guards and post. Taylor, who's a good defender, can play pretty much either spot as well. And so for us, it's kind of nice that way. Sometimes it comes down to, are you defending and rebounding, or are you scoring? What do we need that game? Is Jade not scoring? Is Katie not scoring? Or is it we just need stops because those two are carrying the load for us on the offensive end? So it is a puzzle, and never liked puzzles as a kid, I will say that. But I'm learning. I'm learning just like they are.
Stack, let's jump in and talk about her for a second. She had 21 minutes in the game against Loyola, second most minutes I think it was that she had in a game this year. What are you seeing from her as her season sort of carries on?
She's disruptive on the defensive end, and she gets to loose balls. She gets rebounds and sometimes just tips the ball to her teammate when others can't do that. I thought the fact that I think what Loyola brought was what she's capable of defending, is more guard-like post players and or just put a lot of guards in there. And so for us, she can slide her feet, she can block shots. She could score, and especially against kids a little smaller than her. She's about 6'2", so they didn't really have anybody out there that was her size, yet she's got the quickness of a guard. So I love her ability to be disruptive. I think once she gets more confident, like her three almost went down yesterday. I'm like, this is Stack's day if that three goes in, and it rattled out. But she's capable of scoring inside and outside, and I think that's what we need with our offense just in general, whether it's zone or man.
You speak of threes. Maddie Doring has come in and she's stuck a couple of pretty big shots in the game against Loyola, had 11 points.
Yes.
So another pretty good game for her coming off the bench.
Yeah, Maddie's becoming more consistent in scoring. And that's what we need. That's what I want her to do. We've talked about it. Like when you're open from three, you shoot. You don't think twice. And she's there now. So to see her put 2 threes in and really get an and one. I think she got an and one from a pass from Carla, which was awesome to see. Just being she's capable of scoring different ways. And I don't want her just to be a 3-point shooter, but I think that's what we need this year. So I kind of need her to do that. And so that was great to see. I think Maddie's working on the defensive end. She's trying to figure it out. She's doing much better than she did last year. So it's just a matter of her being able to be in help, guard her player a little bit more and get us some defensive rebounds. If she continues down that road, she's going to see more minutes.
Let's talk about the game that you have coming up. That's a road game at Colgate and against their offense, which can really spring a lot on you.
Yeah, they 80 points a game or something like that. Although I did watch their game last night against Bucknell, and they were held to 43, as were we. So I know that, but it wasn't at home, and so Colgate's going to be loaded for bear for us, based on how they lost the game here. I don't know if you remember, but there was that last second shot that they thought was a foul and stuff. So I'm sure they're going to be ready for us. And, we have to play better defense because, Rachel Thompson's just scary as a player. I mean, she's scoring from everywhere at a high percentage. So, yeah, India's going to have her hands full. We can't get ourselves in foul trouble, and we're going to have to score with them at their place, and that's where the Maddies of the world come in, and Stack and Taylor coming in off the bench really needs to show up this game, and then Jade needs to have a better game for us to win on the road. And
of course, to get up there, you have a bajillion-hour bus ride to get there, which is never fun. The getting there and the coming home. Travel in this league, that is one example. It's not a charter league. A lot of people think, the teams just hop on a plane and they're where they need to be in a split second, and then after a game they hop right on and they're home.
Yeah.
You had an issue in Worcester when you were trying to get home from Boston in the game against Holy Cross, and thought your plane was going to be canceled, had to go through a lot, but ended up getting home and actually getting home early.
Yeah, it was crazy. We left the gym and we're on our way to the airport, and my Dobo, Nicole, says our flight was canceled. And I'm like, well, why? It wasn't really even snowing up in Worcester or in Boston. And down here, I think it was fine. I think it was rain. And so she's panicked. I'm panicked. I'm like, all right, so we got to figure out a way to get out of here. So she was on the phone literally the entire bus ride trying to figure it out for us. By the time we got to the airport, we already had a plan. We could take a train. We knew that we could do that. And then a couple flights we were trying to get on but weren't booked on. And so she ran into the airport as soon as the bus pulled up and talked to an agent and got I thought we were going to split the team on 2 different flights, and then there's that issue, like who goes on which flight and why.
Right.
You don't want to be put in that spot.
Right.
I was an assistant that happened to be at Marist once, and that was it was a nightmare trying to do that because then kids want to know why they weren't on the first flight and stuff. So I didn't want to have to deal with that. So somehow, some way, she got us on all the same flight. We ended up getting home. I think our flight left at 6:10. Got home by 8 p.m. and we were supposed to get in at like 9:30 or something on the other flight. So yeah, we had to pay to do it, but she did an outstanding job of just being, in control and under pressure, being able to figure it out. And I love that about Nicole. She's obviously the best dobo. We were like her minion. She's like, call here, call there, do this, do that. And she had the entire staff working, which was great because everybody wanted to just get home at that point. And you want your Sunday to yourself and like a day of rest and being able to kind of collect yourselves. And the players, they need to study and do things like that. So she was a champ that day. They gave her a round of applause at the airport when we got on that plane. So
got on it. So if you were on, but then
didn't
you're on
take
there,
off.
you're right, exactly.
It was when we got. Actually, it was when we all were booked. Is when they gave her a round of applause. But she wasn't. She was thinking what you're thinking.
Right.
She's like,
Let's wait till we get home. Let's wait till we land. Let's wait at least till we land. Then maybe all right.
That's exactly what Nicole was thinking. So, but she was 2 steps ahead. I mean, even before we left for the trip, she's like, I think they might have snow. I'm going to get a hotel closer to the airport. Just like she was on it. So. Really appreciate her.
The importance of having a good dobo. Yeah. Before we wrap up the show, want to talk about what a caring person you are. Apparently, right before we taped the show, you had a deal with a bird in your house.
Yes. You never know what's going to happen, right? You
Yeah.
have to just figure it out as you go along. So I left my window open. I went to work out. I came back. To my surprise, I opened my bedroom door, and there's a bird flying around in there. So I'm like, I know you're not supposed to touch birds or whatever, so I went downstairs, got my oven mitts. The bird flew at me. I thought it was going to attack me, and then it hit my bedroom mirror, and it kind of collapsed. And I'm like, oh my God, it's dead. And then I realized it was just kind of knocked out for a minute or two.
Did you have to do any CPR, any
no.
pumping on the?
I was like, please don't be dead. And then I went and after a couple minutes, after it kind of got itself back, but I collected it with my oven mitts and just kind of put it back out the window and fly away, buddy. It finally did. So I'm past that test, God. I'm good there. So yeah.
And you made it here on time.
Yeah, and I'm still here on time, so I'm happy about that.
Exactly.
I wanted to share this time with you. That's all that matters.
Right. Well, best of luck on the long trip to Colgate
thank you.
and against the Raiders.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
All right. That is Coach Gebbia, and that will do it for this edition of Beyond the Arc with Coach Gebbia. Be sure to keep up with the Eagles across all the social media platforms. For Coach, I'm Dan. We'll see you next time.